Good evening. You're watching the 7 o'clock English news from the Sultanate Oman Television. First, the headlines. Signed by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Highness Said Asad bin Tariq Al Said participates in the extraordinary Islamic summit being held in the Turkish city of Istanbul. Coinciding with celebrations of the Armed Forces Day, the Military Technological College celebrates the graduation of its first batch of students. And a global conference on tourism and culture concludes its works by issuing the Muscat Declaration and calling on the strength to strengthen harmonic relations between tourism and culture. Those are the headlines, and now the news in detail. His Majesty Sultan Qaboos has received a cable thanks from His Highness Sheikh Sabah Al Ahmed Al Jabir Al Sabah, Emir of Kuwait, in reply to His Majesty's condolence cable on the death of Sheikha Fatima Abdullah Al Ahmed Al Sabah. His Majesty the Sultan has received a cable thanks from His Majesty King Felipe VI of Spain in reply to His Majesty's cable of greetings on his country's National Day. Signed by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Highness Said Asad bin Tariq Al Said, Deputy Prime Minister for the International Relations and Cooperation and Special Representative of His Majesty the Sultan, presided over the Sultan's delegation at the inauguration of the Extraordinary Islamic Summit held in the Turkish city of Istanbul, with the participation of a number of leaders and representatives of Islamic Cooperation Organization countries. Discussions at the conference touched upon the situation following the U.S. President's recognition of Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and the decision to move the U.S. Embassy to Jerusalem. The summit comes in order to allow Islamic countries to act in a unified and coordinated manner in the face of the developments and repercussions of the U.S. administration's announcements. The summit urged the United States to reverse this decision and continue to play the role of a positive mediator for peace based on the two-state solution and the rules of international law. The meeting called on the member states of the organization to take the necessary measures to ensure full compliance with the implementation of all the decisions of the organization on the Palestinian issue. Coinciding with the celebrations of the Armed Forces Day, the Military Technological College celebrated the graduation of its first batch of students of advanced diploma degree holders. The graduates specialized in various majors, namely aviation, marine, civil, and system engineering. The graduation ceremony included a number of activities and distribution of certificates to the graduates and excelled students. The graduation ceremony was presided over by His Excellency Sayyid Badr bin Saud bin Harib Al Busaidi, Minister responsible for Defense Affairs. The students expressed their happiness and pride for graduation after the hard work and efforts they exerted during the years of study, and stressed that they are ready for the next stage of their life, which is to head towards the labor markets, get a job, and serve their country. Major General Salim bin Salim Qattan, commander of the National Defense College, received the delegation of the Military Cooperation Authority in Qatar, currently visiting the Sultanate, headed by Commodore Tariq Khalid Al-Ubaidili. During the meeting, they exchanged points of view on matters of common concern between both countries. Participants in the second global conference on the tourism and culture of the World Tourism Organization and the UNESCO forwarded a cable of thanks and gratitude to His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, expressing their utmost thanks and sincere appreciation to the Sultan's government on the generous hospitality and welcoming and good preparation of the conference. The conference concluded with Muscat Declaration, which stressed on strengthening the harmonious relations between tourism and culture and raising the level of the contribution of cultural tourism towards the United Nations agenda for sustainable development, as well as advocating for the role of tourism and culture in building peace, protecting heritage, and promoting an innovative methodology of sustainable development. Solutions of waste management and its transformation to added value through recycling topped the aim of the conference and exhibition of Waste Management and Environmental Services 2017. The second version of the conference witnessed the participation of more than 30 local companies specialized in the environmental field, in addition to the participation of 9 international institutions. The Sultan is heading for a circular economy through benefiting from low-cost resources as energy of waste recycle and transformation to renewable energy through using modern technology for collecting waste in modern dumping areas which ensure environment safety. The conference also discussed a modern strategy for the Sultan in increasing the recycling process. Higher Water Company explained that the total value of the company's main plan approved in 2016 reached around 2,800 million Omani Riyals. This came during the media meeting which was held by the company with media means aiming to present the achieved and the existing projects. The meeting shed light on a number of investments and revenues achieved by the company during the past years through treatment of wastewater as the search continue for alternatives and ways to fund projects in partnership with the private sector. It's worth mentioning that the company was able to treat 127 million cubic meters of water during the past 6 years. The efforts continue to use the latest technologies in wastewater treatment as the company stressed that preserving the environment is its #1 priority. To the Camera News Bulletin. The Public Authority for Investment Promotion and Export Development discusses the opportunities and challenges related to the food sector. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has called on the United Nations to take charge of the Middle East peace process and revamp it with a new mechanism since Washington is allegedly no longer fit for the task. Abbas spoke at a gathering of Islamic countries hosted by Turkey today. The summit is meant to hammer out a united stance in the wake of President Donald Trump's recognition earlier this month of Jerusalem as Israel's capital. Abbas said the Palestinians are committed to a peaceful resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and will continue to fight violence. But he added that following Trump's move on Jerusalem, Washington is not accepted as a fair negotiator. French President Emmanuel Macron today welcomed the European leaders and Saudi Arabia's foreign minister for a G5 Sahel Force conference west of Paris. The G5 force aims to tackle the militant threat, organized crime and human trafficking. Macron has taken the lead on convincing partners to help make the force viable because the fate of the Sahel region impacts Europe. Today's conference brings together the leaders of the 5 nations making up the force, plus European leaders, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel. Officials from the European Union, the African Union, and the UN are also attending, as well as envoys from Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates. An official in the French President's office said while funding is not the leading topic, Saudi Arabia could be among those announcing a contribution. A special funding conference is to be held in February. Residents of Khan Yunis in the southern Gaza Strip were today surveying damage of their homes following early morning Israeli airstrikes. The Israeli military said it carried out the airstrikes in Gaza in response to rocket fire towards southern Israel. The military said it struck a Hamas military compound in the south of the territory. No casualties were reported. The exchanges followed U.S. President Donald Trump's recognition of Jerusalem as Israeli capital. The Israeli strikes followed rocket fired on Tuesday towards Israel's southern coastal city of Ashkelon. Palestinians have fired several rockets at Israel in recent days, sparking an uptick in Israeli retaliation. 2 Hamas members and 2 demonstrators were killed over the weekend. Since the war in Syria broke out, thousands have fled the violence and looked to make a life elsewhere. Rather than going to Europe like many of their peers, one enterprising Syrian man decided to set up his business venture in Egypt, tuk-tuks. 34-year-old Ismail Abdul Hamid has imported a new generation of tuk-tuk to the streets of Cairo. His bright red model is an electric-powered vehicle that creates less smoke and noise than its more traditional counterparts. For the busy streets of the Egyptian capital, this could be an important new addition. While it resembles the usual tuk-tuk from the outside, it has many different features. Drivers are able to charge it from their home electricity supply and keep it driving for 8 to 10 hours. Now for more local news, the Board of Directors of the Higher Judiciary Institute held its second meeting of the year. It reviewed a memorandum of understanding with Kuwait's Institute for Judicial and Legal Studies, in addition to mechanisms of training national cadres in this field. It also discussed ways to further enhance the work of the Institute. The meeting was headed by Honorable Sheikh Dr. Ishaq bin Ahmed Al-Busaidi, Chairman of the Higher Court, Deputy Chairman of the Higher Judiciary Institute. The second forum for training and development aimed to showcase the experience of a specialized center in the field of teachers training, in addition to exchange practical and educational expertise. The forum, in its conclusion, was keen to discuss education and learning issues and means to develop them to meet the needs of various educational segments, in addition to contribute in spreading culture of development and continuous vocational growth. The two-day forum focused on 2 main aspects: education and learning in 21st century and strategies and techniques of modern training. The aspects were discussed in 41 work papers presented by various segments of researchers in the field of training and education. It also targeted the educational researchers and trainers from various specializations, in addition to trainees in the specialization center from various training programs in various governorates. The latest weather analysis, according to the National Multi-Hazard Early Warning Center, shows that the Sultanate will be affected by a trough of low-pressure system starting from Friday evening, 15th of December 2017, and lasting until Monday, the 18th. Isolated rain, occasionally thunder showers associated with fresh winds and hail are expected over the governorates of Musandam, Muscat, Brahmi, Al-Lahira, North and South Batina, Al-Dakhiliya, North and South Sharqiya, with chances of cloud development and isolated rain over the governorates of Al-Wusta and Dhafar. Seas will be moderate to rough along the coastal areas of Musandam and Sea of Oman with a maximum wave height of 3 meters. The Public Authority for Civil Aviation advises public to take extreme precautions during the rain, avoid crossing overflowing wadis, not to venture out to the sea and follow the latest weather bulletins. A discussion session entitled Future of Oil Under the Regional Changes reviewed the challenges that face the oil sector within the framework of the global economic, political, social and technological changes. The session clarified that the demand on oil will continue for the decades to come. However, the oil prices may stabilize on their current level for long periods. Under the title Food and Drink from Farm to the Table, the Public Authority for Investment, Promotion and Export Development, ITHRA, organized the 7th economic meeting. The event discussed the opportunities and challenges related to the food sector. The meeting aimed to enhance the food sector in the Sultanate in light of the increasing population, which reached more than 4.5 million people, and the increase of the number of tourists from all over the world. Now for the weather forecast around the Sultanate, clear to partly cloudy skies prevail over the coastal areas of the Sea of Oman, and rest of the Sultanate will have clear skies. Winds will be northerly to northwesterly light to moderate, and seas will be light to moderate with a maximum wave height of 1.5 meters. This is the Sultanate of Oman television. Before we enter tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. Signed by His Majesty Sultan Qaboos, His Highness Sayyid Asad bin Tariq Al Said participates in the extraordinary Islamic summit being held in the Turkish city of Istanbul. Coinciding with the celebrations of the Armed Forces Day, the Military Technological College celebrates the graduation of its first batch of students. And Global Conference on Tourism and Culture concludes its works by issuing the Muscat Declaration and calling on to strengthening harmonic relations between tourism and culture. And with that, come to the end of tonight's news bulletin. From all of us here in the newsroom and the studios, good night.